Well, after some thunderstorms late Wednesday, cooler air is in place for Thursday. We've got a couple minor rain chances, but overall, the drought is expanding across Minnesota and a major heat wave is on the way. Numerous storm reports yesterday, mostly hail, and some of it was pretty big. In Itasca County, Marcel had tennis ball sized hail and baseball sized hail, also around the Rice Lake area. Those are some of the biggest hailstones, but we'd had some golf ball sized hail in central Minnesota. Also some high wind reports, 74 miles an hour in Kimball, or Richmond rather, in Stearns County. And some other wind reports of about 60 to 65 miles an hour in parts of the North Metro too. Most of the rain was confined to central Minnesota and a swath of northern Minnesota, but also here up in the Iron Range, this area around Nashwauk to Hibbing, about 1 to 2 inches of rain estimated by radar, and a couple of good swaths of some rainfall across central Minnesota in areas that really need it because the drought has expanded. And this drought monitor doesn't include last night's rainfall. The data goes through early Tuesday. So the rain that we saw last night won't factor into this week's drought monitor, but next week's. And even though some areas got an inch of rain, it's probably not going to be enough to undo it. So for the first time this year now, we have extreme drought that's popped up in southeastern Minnesota and a couple of these pockets in central Minnesota, including St. Cloud, also some of the northern suburbs, and then the Rochester area, almost all of Olmsted County. So that is an increase in that extreme drought from what we had last week's. Now drought includes 70% of Minnesota. The entire state abnormally dry. Got a couple disturbances moving through. The first one tomorrow and then another one on Saturday. These are just quick little ripples in the upper atmosphere that'll touch off just enough instability to create a few spotty showers tomorrow afternoon. And then again late Saturday, maybe a couple thunderstorms. There's some modest C.A.P.E or instability tomorrow. Convective available potential energy. Nothing for severe weather, but when we get into the hundreds of kilojoules, it's enough to create a couple thunderstorms and certainly some instability showers. So this will be a typical thing where dry in the morning, but with that afternoon daytime heating, central Minnesota and northern Minnesota especially is where we'll see some of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And once the sun goes down, they'll be done. Saturday, a very similar scenario. And again, these disturbances aloft create just enough instability for these pop-up showers because it's essentially miniature cool fronts in the middle of the atmosphere that help to create some of that instability in the afternoon. And then we're looking at heat. The 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center is calling for a strong likelihood of well above normal temperatures. And this is the same heat area that has been plaguing the Southwest. Phoenix now up to 120 or 20 days, not 120, that's an error, of consecutive days of 110 degree plus temperatures. I was probably thinking 120 degrees. And there's no end in sight to this streak of days. So they're going to shatter the old record of 19 days set 49 years ago. Maybe by the end of the month or August, we'll finally break that streak there, but that's incredible. They're going to surpass it by at least a week or 10 days from the old record. So that same heat dome that's been parked in the Southwest, well, we've been seeing relatively cool temperatures or normal. That finally is expanding north and east and is going to be really in our area for a while. So we're looking at least 6 consecutive days potentially of 90 degree plus temperatures, with the peak probably midweek next week, Wednesday, Thursday. About half of our models pushing temperatures up to about 100 degrees, which is a remarkable feat. That's hard for us to do. Happens about once every 4 or 5 years on average. You'll remember that we did it last year, so to do it 2 years in a row, not very common to do that. So enjoy the cooler or seasonable temperatures. Meanwhile, near 80 today, again, a few pop-up showers tomorrow afternoon, and then a little bit better chance of maybe some spotty thunder Saturday, and then heading into the weekend, later part of the weekend, it's going to be heating up and just hot, dry next week. That drought is going to definitely worsen after next week's hot, dry, sunny weather.